Okay, very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Southeast Asia Economies and Business Economics. Today, Lawrence, Robar, and Anil will be presenting their paper on international trade in Southeast Asia. So, without further ado, please welcome Lawrence, Robar, and Anil.
Perfect. So I think Anna should now can start for the beginning.
Hello and welcome. Oh, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Hello and welcome to our presentation. We have the topic, the international trade of Southeast Asia, which we will present to you today. Next slide, please. First, I'm going to give you a short introduction of the Southeast Asian countries. I will show you the main imports and exports of Southeast Asia. Then Lawrence will tell you some current issues of the international trade, like the impact of the US and China trade war and the COVID-19 pandemic. After that, Boba will tell you something about the Ukraine-Russian war and the impact of that to the Southeast Asian trade. And last but not least, the conclusion. Next slide. Yeah. Southeast Asia is a part of the Asian continent and includes the countries located east of India and south of China. It consists of 11 countries you can see here, including Brunei, Indonesia, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, East Timor, and Vietnam. And as you can see here, Southeast Asia has around 600 million citizens, and Indonesia is the highest country when it comes to population. They have around 267 million citizens, which makes nearly 45% of the South Asian population. Brunei is the smallest country when it comes to population with 400,000 citizens, and Singapore is the smallest country with the highest population density. You can also see in this chart that Singapore and Brunei actually has a decent GDP per capita, and Singapore is also the number one when it comes to Human Development Index. Yeah, next slide. I think you have to go one slide back. No. In this slide, you can see the main import goods from each country. So we see here a lot of petroleum and integrated circuits here. An integrated circuit is like a little microchip or a wafer. And when we go to the export list, we can also see, for example, that Thailand mainly imports broadcasting equipment and telephones, so electronic things. And Indonesia, for example, exports mainly palm oil and coal bridges. But let's look at Indonesia closely. Indonesia imported in 2020 goods worth 140 billion US dollar and exported goods worth 178 billion US dollar. Sorry. So Indonesia exported more than they imported, which is very good. And when it comes to services, Indonesia exported services worth 31 billion US dollar and imported services worth 38 billion US dollar. In 2020, Indonesia was the number 16 economy in the world in terms of GDP. The number 28 in total exports, the number 31 in total imports, the number 121 in economy in terms of GDP per capita. The top exports of Indonesia are, as I just said, palm oil worth nearly 80 billion US dollar, coal bridges worth 15 billion US dollar, and gold worth 6 billion US dollar. Indonesia's mainly or mostly exporting to China, United States, Japan, Singapore, and India. In 2020, Indonesia was the world's biggest exporter of palm oil and stearic acids and coconut oil. Yeah.
Perfect. Now I would like to talk about some current issue in Southeast Asia, international trade. For this, we have focused on the three main issuing points affecting international trade. The first one would be the impact of the US-China trade war. Then we would like to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic, and at least the current Russia and Ukraine war. So the trade dispute between the United States and the Republic of China has excited since early 2018. The subject of this economy policy dispute is the introduction of new important duties and the increases in existing ones. The US trade deficit with China is likely to be largely responsible for the trade dispute. US President Donald Trump had announced during the 2016 election campaign that he wanted to reduce these. These high tariffs meant that China was pushed out of the American market. And now, what is exactly the impact on Southeast Asia? Higher tariffs have disrupted supply chain and threatened the economy China, the key trading partner of many countries in the region of Southeast Asia. But the trade conflict has also brought some benefit. As Donald Trump's tariffs hit China exports to the US, companies in engineering, textiles, and technology has begun to implement plans to move production out of China to neighboring countries to avoid getting caught in crossfire. The economy of Southeast Asia recorded mixed economy development last year, which was shaped by the trade dispute and the US Federal Reserve's interest rate hike cycle. According to the data from the Asian Development Bank, the weighted average GDP growth in 2018 in the region's 5 major economies, which are Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, which was 4.8%, down from 5.1% in 2017. So it's recognizable that China's conflict with the United States is not only negative, which is also presents new opportunities for a wider region in Southeast Asia. Okay, so now we're coming to the COVID-19 pandemic. Cross-border travel restrictions have implemented all travel segments, particularly air travel, accommodation, and tour operators. This was done through strict quarantine regulation, usually to 10 to 14 days. So traveler had to pay the quarantine costs in specific Corona hotels, which was already deterred many in advance. In addition to a quarantine of 10 to 14 days, which is longer than the average holiday of an employee in Southeast Asia, which he's gonna make. So prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, cultural tourism was purpose of 47% of arrivals among 69 countries and was forecasted to increase by 15% over the next 4 years. Including with these was an estimated that culinary travel was also a leading draw with an estimated 25% of traveler budget spent on food and beverages. The collapse in visitors' arrival throughout the region has highlighted the extent to which cultural, religious, and community tourism had become a major driver of tourist demand. Perfect. So now we are going to talk about the Russian-Ukraine war, which my fellow student Roba is going to talk about.
Good morning. So, Russia attacking Ukraine changed the world. Europe and NATO countries are very concerned. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine escalated in 2014. Ever since pro-Western forces took hold in Ukraine, relations with Russia have been in permanent crisis mode. The question now is, when will that happen? Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th, 2022. Every day there are bloody battles. Many people have been killed and entire city have been destroyed. Unfortunately, there is currently no end in sight. What does Russia want to achieve with it? Russia President Putin has recognized the separatist areas in eastern Ukraine as independent and ordered troops to be deployed. Russia wants a security guarantee from NATO that no other countries in the east, for example, Ukraine, Georgia, should be accepted into NATO, and the existing NATO member countries in the vicinity of Russia will be disarmed. Russia sees Ukraine's NATO membership as a major security risk and feels threatened by it. The world community wants to put pressure on Putin with tough sanctions and isolate him internationally. The influence of the war on the economy in the Southeast Asia, but also worldwide, I will show you with the help of a video.
Okay, maybe we gonna skip the video, and who was gonna talk about now something after the video.
So, Southeast Asia will have many conflicts of war. One of the biggest observation will be the high prices. Southeast Asia will have to reckon with inflation. Oil and energy prices will rise. This is because the production of the largest oil suppliers, Russia, is interrupted. In addition, the war has stopped the wheat supplier, which is the why food prices will also increase. The reactions of Southeast Asia are mixed. Singapore, Japan, and South Korea support sanctions against Russia. Thailand and Malaysia already emphasized their neutrality at the beginning of the war. Indonesia, the most populous country in Southeast Asia, has avoided calling Russia an aggressor since the beginning of the war. Vladimir Putin is popular there, and the government is in Jakarta is hoping for Russia investment. China tends to side with Russia and reject sanctions against Russia. The individual countries of Southeast Asia are divided. In general, the war will bring disadvantages to all areas worldwide, be it the common man and the community, economy, the bank, or government.
Now we will talk about conclusion. So Southeast Asia is one of the most regions in the world. Prior of the COVID-19 pandemic, the region's economy were rate above the applications that are building up on this again. As the population grows, so do the cities. With 35 million inhabitants, the Indonesian capital Jakarta is already the second largest metropolitan area in the world. The foreign and the security policy weighted of the states that have joined together in a regional organization ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asia, which has grown. All in all, the Corona conflict, the conflict with the US, and the war in the Ukraine all are factors that makes the international trade more difficulty in general. But Southeast Asia shows impressive development. This was our presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if we have any questions, you could just ask us.